Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Lisa Mitrakin, and this is my brand new book, Incandescence 2024 Loving Life. At last, it is published, it is complete, and I'm going to give you a full flip through and tell you a little bit of how this book came to be if you have not been following this project so far. Additionally, I have a little surprise for you. We'll talk about it a little bit later on. This is one of the pages on the book and one of my favorite characters in the book. She is on the cover. And this is a watercolor effect that I will be teaching very shortly in an upcoming course in the Academy. The effect being a realistic watercolor effect with colored pencils so that you can do this on any paper at all, including the paper in the book. Alrighty, so what is incandescence? When you get this book, I imagine that most of you will skip this page, so I will read it to you now on the show. Perfectly fine, I know you all just want to get into coloring. Incandescence Loving Life is a special collection of 32 unique commissioned drawings that blend personal stories with artistic expression. Inspired by the international art challenge called Inktober, where artists worldwide create daily ink drawings based on word prompts. This book adds a personal twist, though. Instead of drawing the first idea that came to my mind, I worked with real people to capture their stories, visions, and messages within the daily prompts. These drawings are more than art. They're intimate reflections of life filled with the energy and inspiration of real experiences. Each page in this book is hand-drawn by me using a combination of traditional pen and ink and stylized digital work to transform these illustrations into high-quality coloring pages. So let's dive in. Day one, the prompt was backpack. Meet Janine. She loves hiking because it takes her back to her childhood. She travels with her old teddy bear in a backpack that is bigger than she is. Janine describes her adventures as traveling through time as well as through physical space. And here you have my original drawing. So this is an actual person who commissioned this page. I ran this offer on Etsy for a few weeks before October, and certain people were able to book their pages ahead of time. So this is actually Janine. Well, it's my rendition of Janine and her teddy bear and her adventures. As you can see, the original drawing is quite dark, but still colorable. I wanted you guys to enjoy the original art as well as have nice, lightly printed pages to work on. You may notice that the paper in the printed version is actually cream. You can see it here very clearly. The inside of the cover is pure white, but the printed pages are light cream. I started doing that recently, and it's been a huge hit with everyone. And each one of these pages will keep you busy, guys. Like, this page alone can take days and even weeks to complete. Day 2 prompt was discover. Gamma is an avid traveler and never leaves her house without her trusty camera. One of her favorite travel destinations is Egypt. If she could visit it in its ancient days, she would in a heartbeat. Again, lots of detail here to work with. I don't know if you guys prefer to watch the darker versions or actually the versions that you will be coloring the lighter grayscale, but lots and lots of textures to work here. And the way that this paper is now presented in the Amazon printed books is that it's quite friendly for adding color over the gray as well. So if you're working with professional coloring pencils like Prismacolor, adding even lighter colors over the glasses here will absolutely work. So don't be intimidated by just how much gray detail there is in these pages. This book is filled with dogs. Branda's pup named Boots was perfect for the day 3 prompt. He earned his name due to the special color patterns on his paws. And he is fascinated with boot laces. He's a little beagle pup, and you can see here on my drawing, he has a little bit of a boot pattern on his front paws. Is he not adorable? And of course, here's the lighter grayscale version of that. As always, all of my books are available in print as well as in a PDF version. In the PDF version, you will only be getting the light grayscale, and it will look something like this. I printed these on regular printer paper, and this is the degree of grayness or blackness that you're getting on your PDF print. So in the PDF version, there are no darker and lighter, there's simply the lighter. Day 4, exotic. This is our cover girl, Casey, who found peace through meditation in India. So this is Casey and her Zen-like pose as she's discovering meditation. And there she is on the cover again. So once again, there's your grayscale version, and that grayscale version is what we'll be working with for the watercolor effects with colored pencils course, which is already available for pre-order. If you follow this link on the screen right now, or the clickable link in the video description, you can go straight to our coloring courses and already pre-order this course. Why pre-order it? Because I don't know exactly when it will come out. It may be in 3 days, it may be in 7 days. I am so booked up all of this month with making new content for you guys for Thanksgiving and Christmas that I don't know how soon I'll be able to make the full official announcement that the course is live. So if you pre-order it now, as soon as it goes live, you'll get an instant notification and you'll be able to jump right in. It should be within the next week. So go ahead and follow the link and just book a place in that course, and it's going to be a blast. So this effect you'll be able to apply to any page in this book on this paper without blemishing it, without having to worry about any colors going through the pages, and you can add really cool paint-like effects to any coloring in any book, really. It doesn't even have to be my book. Binoculars, day 5. See the world through the lenses of Dave and Terry, who are dedicated bird watchers and recently spotted this majestic whooping crane. For those of you who are interested in coloring feathers and flowers and different textures, this is going to be an excellent page. I like the way that this book turned out, and it's always a gamble for me doing these volumes because I don't know what the prompts will be until the very last minute, and I don't know what the people will request. For instance, I didn't know I was going to have a bird watcher among the participants. That was just really good luck. What were the odds of finding someone with a pup named Boots? Some of these things just fall together so magically. For Trek, again, another very lucky meet. Kaylee finds freedom in riding her Trek mountain bike, which is my favorite. I have a Trek mountain bike and I absolutely love it. I was going to claim this for myself with the same prompt if nobody else took it. Kaylee wants us to know, though, that she always wears a helmet when she rides, but she wanted to feel the wind through her hair, if only in the drawing. So I made sure to not have a helmet on her because she really hates it. I can relate to it. I hate wearing a helmet. For the longest time, I rode without my helmet, but the more intense my rides got, the more I realized that it's just stupid to risk my life over not looking pretty enough in a place where no one can see me anyway. So wear your helmets, kids. Enjoy your rides. Enjoy your freedom. Trek is Kaylee's. Passport. This was another candidate for our cover page. Some of you asked for this to be the cover, but we actually ran a poll for the cover, and this image won by a hair. It was a very close call between this and 2 others, but in the end, this one did win. For Passport, meet Kim, who says that she travels so much you can hardly see the pages of her passport through all the stamps. And there she is. There's Kim. This is one of the most detailed pages in the book. I had to produce these on daily basis and release them on the actual day. So I had no life in October. This was my life. And many of you know that while I was working on this book, we also had to travel to California to get special medical treatment for my dog, Shelby, who has been diagnosed with a very special form of nasal cancer. In fact, if you can hear snoring and snorting in the background, that's her laying next to me on the floor. The treatment went well, so thank you everyone for your prayers and your support and your lovely messages. Shelby is doing much better now. We have to wait and see how her recovery goes, how the radiation treatment worked. But that was another thing that totally derailed me last month. So many dogs in this book as well. Christopher and his dog Boomer go for hikes in the hillsides, and here they are. Christopher's dog is a golden lab, and he loves to go on hikes without a leash. They are a very good team, and they love to go around and discover new places. So this is another cool page to color. I think with the watercolor effect, it would be really nice to add it to the background there. Sun. This made me smile. A lot of these pages made me smile. In fact, the whole reason why the book is called Loving Life and why I made such a big deal about talking about people's positivity and inspiration in the intro is because while I was going through such a difficult time this October, working on this book gave me so much energy and so much inspiration because everyone who participated had such an incredible drive for life and appreciation of life and adventure. You know, the book is mostly adventure themed and travel themed, and I think that invited a certain kind of people who are very positive and open and adventurous. So Kate and Larry, for instance, were finally able to take their vacation in Hawaii, and they chose to take a whole bunch of photos that depicted things that simply made them smile. They said that most people go on vacation and take selfies with duck lips, but they didn't want to be those people. They wanted to capture the little tiny details that truly made them happy and made them feel like they are on their very well-deserved vacation, on their escape. So they sent me a million photos and I combined them into this collage. Nomadic came in as number 2 for our cover image. It's this close, this close. Joy and Daisy at the Burning Man Festival. These two are not related, but describe themselves as soul sisters. They love to dance, sing, and hitchhike to as many places as possible. They are hippies. They are very happy, very playful. And while they're not actually twins, they do look very much alike. They keep their hairstyle very similar. They dress alike. And they wanted to look like they could be twins in this illustration, which is why I made it a little bit more stylized, a little bit more cartoony, or like a graphic novel type of design. And I tilted their heads very far back so that a lot of the facial features are kind of hidden in that tilt. You just see these giant smiles and the squinting, smiling eyes. And this is one of those that made me really, really happy to work on. I didn't want to finish it. I spent an entire day from morning to night drawing this, and I didn't want it to end. This is just pure joy on the page. Lots of opportunities to practice sunlight and the spotted light effects here, again, either with the watercolor effect or regular coloring. Snacks. Davy warns us that when camping, make sure to put all of your stuff away because bears love snacks above all. And while he didn't have any photos of bears eating snacks, he told me many stories so that I could create this picture of a bear dreaming of enjoying every single delicious snack that Davy likes to pack on his vacations. Remote is another one of my favorites. This is from Haruka, who says that she grew up in a village so remote it felt like living on a tiny hovering rock. She didn't send me any pictures, she just sent me this statement, and from that I created one of my favorite images on this book, this little Japanese house, a hut that's just taking up the entire little hovering rock. Even the trees barely have enough space here. So again, this is the lighter grayscale version of this in the book. And here's one of the examples of how it will print if you just print it with your regular printer settings. Horizon. Love the small moments. Becca takes a few minutes every morning to watch the gulls and the boats while sipping coffee in her port town in Maine. Now, this is ironic. This page is called Horizon, yet we don't actually have a horizon on this page. It's kind of implied. It's somewhere in the distance. She can't see it through all the boats and the gulls. But I think I captured the mood of this place quite well. Every time, if I may say so myself, every time that I open the book to this page, I can hear the gulls. I can smell the water. And I myself am a huge fan of port towns, and just staring out into the water is very therapeutic. It's another thing about this book, you know, all the energy that went into every single story, all the energy that I've poured into it, as I was struggling with some very heavy emotional stuff this month of October with nearly losing my dog Shelby. It's all the love and care and just the serenity of these stories. I think that feeling transcends through the drawing. My hope is that when you color this, you feel that as well. You experience that. I expect this book to be very therapeutic and enjoyable and relaxing in many ways for the colorist. For Rome, we got some mountain goats from Patricia. Patricia loves off-road driving, but she didn't want to be in the picture herself. She did spot some amazing ibex mountain goats once on her off-road trip, and that was exceptional. She didn't get any photos of them, but she did get to enjoy actually seeing them run around. So I had to do some research on what they actually look like up close. You know, I'm a huge fan of anatomy and skulls and bones, so I had to bring that in as well. If you haven't seen these goats ever, look them up on YouTube. They are insane. They can literally walk on like vertical surfaces. They are amazing. These goats literally roam everywhere. Nobody claimed this page, so I claimed it for myself. And I say that our adventures continue well after we depart this world. Remember to keep your guidebook close and never leave it unattended. And it's a nod to one of my favorite movies of all time, Beetlejuice. And for my guidebook, I chose the handbook for the recently deceased. Grungy was claimed by Elizabeth, who says that in her younger years, she really wanted to be grungy, but she happened to like Beatles. So she would stand there looking all emo and dark and covered in tattoos with her greasy hair and her ripped clothing, but she'd be listening to super cheerful All You Need Is Love tunes, and I think that's just adorable. Even in our grungy and tough and dark image in the book, there's still love, which is why I gave her that heart on her t-shirt. Journal belongs to Liz, who wanted me to depict her hero, her dad. Her dad is now 75, I believe, or older, and he's still rocking like a rock star. He is a drummer and a huge inspiration to everyone who meets him. This is Liz's dad. In his age right now, I think he looks amazing. I think his energy is amazing. I can't believe that he is still drumming, still making music. Journal is a reference to his sheet music, which you can see here appear in this kind of a halo effect around his head to glorify him even further. And he himself appears in this frame of a journal pages. And so this is Liz's dad. And lots of opportunity here to practice watercolor effects as well, but also shiny surfaces like the drums. Drive! More dogs! Meet Napoleon. His human Nancy says that he loves to pretend that he's the one driving on road trips. Shh! Please humor Nancy. Of course Napoleon is driving. Every dog who sticks their head out of the window is actually driving the vehicle. It is known. Isn't he just a joy? This was a blessing and a curse for me to work on, you know, as I was falling apart, expecting my dog to die any minute now, but continuing to work on this book, having to draw an extremely cheerful dog who is full of life was both difficult and refreshing at the same time. I mean, this book, oh my god, this book almost tore me apart working on it. In the best possible way, but you know, I've poured all of my love for dogs into this page, all of my wishes for Shelby to get better into this page. I want every dog to be this forever. For Ridge, we have yet another dog. Meet the gorgeous Clara, who's a Rhodesian Ridgeback. Her human, Daniel, explains that these dogs were bred to hunt lions. Clara has never seen a lion, but it's in her blood to dream of them. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous dog breed. I have met Rhodesian Ridgebacks, and they're insanely beautiful, insanely smart, very friendly dogs. But yeah, they can take down a lion. They are absolutely amazing. So here's Clara dreaming of hunting lions. This is an excellent page to practice fur effects in any media, in any color. We'll probably do a tutorial on this if you guys want. As you're watching the flip through of this book, please feel free to comment right now in the video comments below which of these pages you're interested in seeing. I mean, I'm obviously not going to be able to color every single page anytime soon. I already did one, as you saw, and I'm doing a whole course on this watercolor effect. But there are many other things to practice in this book. You know, this is above all a coloring book, so I had to keep that in mind for what kind of effects I can teach on these pages. So in this case, obviously fur effect, but also, we can do this in a watercolor fur effect, or we can make it completely photorealistic, entirely up to you guys. Uncharted came from Pamela, and Pamela sent me so many photos. She takes millions and millions and billions of photos, and her life is just like a Hollywood picture. She goes to all these places. She's always smiling. Of course, I couldn't possibly put every single image that she sent me into a single compilation of images to create a coloring page, but I did want to capture her beautiful smile from the photos that she sent, that look of wonder in her eyes, and the uncharted everything, the uncharted life that she still has ahead of her. This cheetah came from her photos. This is from her adventures. The butterfly wings on the cheetah from the photos that she took of butterflies. She's just an amazing, beautiful person, full of energy and life. And she also likes the steampunk style, which is why I made her Uncharted Island in a slightly steampunk style with a little bit of the gears there and the mechanisms. And of course, a hovering island is a throwback to our little Japanese town that's hovering on a tiny rock. So I like to do that in my books. I like to have repeating elements, little shout outs to the previous pages. Rhinoceros, I didn't think anyone was going to claim it. This got taken in the absolute last minute by Jada with her baby Jason, who has a whole collection of animal pajamas, and she loves dressing him up as fierce beast. And here is baby Jason as rhinoceros. Is he not adorable? I mean, if this doesn't make you smile and giggle, I don't know what else will. This is happiness itself. Lots of coloring opportunity here as well. I hope you all enjoy this page. Camp nobody took, so I claimed this one for myself as well. Adrian and I have a truck tent on our off-road vehicle, so we can go anywhere, bust out without tent, and camp. So to me, camping is very much like traveling in a hot air balloon. We can go anywhere we want. We are completely in control. So I made this steampunk hot air balloon for camping. Rust came to us from Kelly, who says that what really makes her happy every day is seeing her grandmother's old rusty watering pot, now buried in vines and junk in the garden. Now that is something that was very well received by the community already. This is deeply philosophical and spiritual in the cutest possible way. Like, sometimes you find joy in the tiniest things. Don't overlook them, you guys. She has this very rusty, very ugly watering pot that now has weeds growing in it, but she sees it every morning and it makes her smile. So enjoy the little things. For Expedition, now this one I already know I'll be doing a coloring tutorial on in December, because we'll be practicing snow on this. This is from Margot, who's a mountain climber and a scrapbooker and enjoys snowfall above all. So lots of opportunity here to practice very old page effects. I think we can do like stained tea type of coloring for the different pages, maybe some actual stains on it. But above all, we can practice the snow effect, the falling snow around her. Mary thought it was a great idea to make a scarecrow that actually looks like a crow. Well, it was a good idea. The crows love it. They will not leave this thing alone. So what she made is not a scarecrow, but rather a crow inviter. So there it is, Mary's rook, who is very popular with all the crow ladies. Camera. Camera was commissioned by Indigo, whose parents have recently passed away. They got married 60 years ago, and she sent me lots of photos from their wedding day and also from the years that followed. They've been together for 50 years up until they passed. They have their guidebook now, and they are together forever. But this is them on their actual wedding day, years and years and years ago, with the camera, and that camera was with them every single year for 50 years, or even more than 50 years. It might have been 60 years. They were together for many decades, very happy, always taking that photo on their anniversary. And this is just a classic page. I mean, I know these are real people and none of you care about them because they're not your parents. That's perfectly fine. But this is a very classic portrait of a beautiful couple. So it should be an excellent page to practice skin tones on, to practice like faded atomic era art coloring on it. Very muted, 1950s, 1960s style coloring. Road was commissioned by Josh, who says that when he plans a road trip, nothing ever goes according to plan. He feels like the road itself points him in a dozen different directions, and he always ends up off the beaten path. Don't I know it? Every time I travel, it's the same thing. So we came up together with this idea of a direction pole that points you in every imaginable direction, and neither one of them is right or wrong. So this I thought would be cool for you guys to fill out with your own text. I was going to put my own lettering here and be like, happiness, success, new job, marriage, romance. But I don't actually want to impose those words on you. So I left them blank, and I want you guys to put in your own words. More dogs. For Jumbo, we have Annie, Roger, and BB. These are Ty's lovely Jack Russell Terriers. And you guys, if this is you, if this is actually about you, say something in the comments or in the live chat. Speak up, raise your hand, say this is my page. These Jack Russell Terriers each have a unique and quirky personality, but together they are Cerberus. Or at least they wish they were. It's good to have role models. So Ty sent me photos of her 3 lovely pups, each with a different personality. One of them is blind, so I made sure to leave her eyes pure white, even though she actually doesn't have eyes right now at all. They're just all stitched up, but I decided to keep it white so that, for the sake of the art depiction, so that it's an interesting coloring page. And to match her ghost Cerberus, he also has the white eyes over here. So lots of little details here that are true to life, true to the characters. Yes, she sent me the photos, the millions of photos of her beautiful pups, and explained their personalities, and then asked me to make them into a 3-headed dog. And this is what I came up with. Another one of my favorites in this book. Very cool for fur coloring. And something that looks serious and intimidating, but also really adorable and just makes you smile and giggle. Navigator is Nazareth. Naz is a very active member of our community. I'm sure she's talking in the comments right now. She travels a lot with Gamma from page 2. Remember Gamma? Gamma from page 2 is Nazareth's best friend. They travel together. So if they could go to ancient Egypt, they would. When they do travel, Naz is the navigator. And she has her phone for navigation. So she always has this handheld device in her phone. But she doesn't really always follow the directions very well. So sometimes they get lost a lot. Naz is a huge science fiction fan, and she is going through The Expanse right now. I myself am a huge fan of The Expanse, and I'm listening to the audiobooks. There are 10 or 11 audiobooks that comprise the entire series of The Expanse, and they are excellent. If you are a fan of science fiction, consider listening to it as you color. I made Naz a belter because belters are awesome, and that is why she has belter tattoos on her face, and also her phone is now transformed into one of those glowing devices that Miller holds in his hand that he carries around while he's looking for Julie. And of course, I gave her a spaceship because I like to pretend that she and Gemma travel in a spaceship rather than in a car. Teresa gave me a very specific vision for this drawing of a beautiful young girl playing the violin, swooped up in a whirlwind of music and birds with her hair flying wildly about her. Music can be truly transformative, and this is my version of the violin. This is one of the pages that took me the longest time. It looks very dainty and like lightly drawn, and lots of empty space on the page because the whirlwind is made out of musical notes and her dress is light and the birds are light. But to put this composition together took forever. It was probably the most difficult one to draw. But finally, I was able to put it all together. Also, there's like hardly any reference photography for people playing the violin while being swooped up in the air by a tornado. So I had to do a lot of my own interpretation of what that would look like. And originally the birds were doves, but in the last minute I changed them to swallows. And finally, last but dear God, is it not least, this is Michaela's landmark, and it is a lighthouse. She asked for the sun to be rising or setting, so I made them rise and set at the same time, while the stars are shining brightly through the clouds. She envisioned waves crashing against the jagged rocks and an eagle soaring peacefully in the air. She wanted this image to show that there's space for tranquility and freedom, and that there's strength in all of us to overcome anything. How amazing is that? I did not make that up for the last image on the page. This is an actual person. Michaela, please speak up in the comments. Raise your hand. Tell them you're real. Tell them this is your real story. I didn't make it up. But how perfectly serene and inspiring is that to end our book with? This is Michaela's lighthouse, her symbol of hope and strength and belief in humanity and belief in all of us. It is just a gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous and inspiring image, and I can't thank you enough for giving me this story to end my book with. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, my new volume of Incandescence in all its glory, with 31 individual stories depicted in 62 colorable pages, available both in a physical printed version on cream paper and in a PDF version that you can print yourselves on any kind of paper, any color, any thickness. Remember that watercolor with colored pencils is already available to join in the Academy, so don't wait, join it now, and as soon as it goes live, you will get a notification, and you'll be able to apply this effect to any coloring page in this book. Thank you so much, everyone who participated in the creation of this book. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for helping me make this book. I love you guys, and I'll see you in watercolor with colored pencils.